folks. It's Jim from Slick Audio. We're streaming multiple sources, so if you see me looking here, looking there, looking there, we've got the YouTube feed going. We've got, obviously, which is what you're watching here, and then we've got a Facebook feed going here, which is what you folks are watching up there. So the point is, I'm going to try to make this quick because it's noisy. We are live at NAMM 2020. It is Friday at 2:33 or something like that in the afternoon Pacific time, since we are in Pacific time right now. So, which kind of has us East Coasters a little screwed up. That 3 hours may not sound like much. Yeah, I'm whining. All right, so how to spec an audio production laptop. There are questions that you need to ask yourselves in general about, how you're going to use the machine. So, and that really comes in several fold. So, how many tracks are you going to record simultaneously? How many tracks are you planning on mixing or playing back simultaneously? How many plugins are you going to use total? Are you going to use the virtual instruments, VSTIs? And what kind of interface you have? So they're really the main questions, if you will, when you're dealing with this sort of design process. So if these are general rules of thumb, folks, so do not take this as gospel or Bible. I can only help you, guide you. So if you're doing some basic recording, and when I say basic recording, really I'm going to say from 5-10 tracks up to 30 tracks, 35, 40 tracks, plus or minus. A handful of plugins. When I say handful, that could be anywhere from 5 to 20. No virtual instruments. You could pretty much use, certainly any of the Slick Audio laptops will support that without a problem at all. Even the smallest ones that we have, which aren't so small. May physically be small, the 14-inch, but it's still plenty capable of. The only thing you need to really consider as you're doing that, since they all use SSDs. Now, not all laptops use SSDs. All of our laptops use SSDs, both M2s and 2.5-inch combinations of the two. For example, the machine that I'm running on right now and streaming on, this guy here has the capability to have four. I don't know what the hell, 4 SSDs in it. So 2 M2s and 2 2.5s. Chris has a laptop here. This is our L1710. And this guy here is a great machine. It's very inexpensive. This is sub $2,000. This one, we have 16 or 32 gig RAM. This we have 16. Yeah, so we can do 8, 16, 32 gig of RAM in this machine here. It will comfortably, even with 16 gig of RAM. I mean, I would not be afraid to do, 25 tracks on it, with a modest amount of plugins. I'm going to put this down. It's getting damn heavy. Trying to hold it with a couple of fingers. So the machine I've got is actually a 1700, so it's a hair older. But this one here is got 32 gig of RAM in it. And as I mentioned, I'm trying to remember size-wise, but I think I have 8 terabytes of 8 or 10 terabytes of SSD storage in this one. We can go up to 12. Actually, I may even have 12 in this one. I'm not sure. But anyways, so storage space is obviously based on, how many tracks you plan on doing, how many projects you plan on doing before you take and want to move this on to start archiving. There's enough space right now in this machine to last me probably my lifetime. You have to be doing an awful lot of tracking to do that. So hard drive space is something that is really, no matter what laptop you have, is really determined on exactly where and what you are, a number of projects that you're trying to do total. Now, the amount of RAM obviously has to do with, I mentioned simultaneous recording of tracks. I also mentioned about plugins and VSDIs. So if you're doing, I'm going to use the term a modest amount, 5-10 plugins and that 10-20 tracks of audio, 16 gig of RAM is more than enough. And again, these are rules of thumb, guys, plus or minus. All right. So I know I'm going to have the wise ass that's going to turn around and say, "Whoa, I can do that." Great. Good luck. I'm just trying to help. But if you're trying to run any sizable amount of tracks, let's just say 50 tracks. Let's go with that one as a rule, And let's just say you've got a couple of plugins on each, so up to 100 plugins. 32 gig of RAM is where you want to be for that. That's just the right thing, the smart thing to do. And as far as virtual instruments, that's kind of all over the map because that really crushes your processor. It crushes memory too, but it crushes your processor harder than it's going to crush your memory, at least in as it relates to a laptop that has some good battery power. Or longevity. So basically, you're talking the 8 series processors, right, from Intel, which is all we use. Now, our big laptops, the 1760, 1560, are actual desktop replacements. So they have K-series processors, real discrete video cards. They can go up to 64 gig of RAM. It's basically compacting our 2200 series into a laptop and saying, here you go. Now, battery life, of course, is not that great. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere in there. But they're not meant to do battery. They're meant to be chunking some serious tracks. I mean, you could easily do, we did a test, and I'm kind of looking at Chris right now. We did a test at one point, I think, with almost 1,000 tracks on that laptop, on the 1560. And actually, it was a 1550 that we did. We didn't even do the newer one. So the 9th gen should be capable of more because that's an i9. So yeah, I would expect it to be able to do 1,000 tracks in that box. The eyes. A lot of them have Thunderbolt interfaces. Thunderbolt, you've heard me talk about this before. Thunderbolt's an incredible way to go. It is super low latency. You're losing a lot of DPC latency and all the technical crap that goes, to take all that out of the picture. It is just a superior platform in general for recording on a computer. Is it the end-all be-all? No. We can do Dante. Obviously, Audinate if you want to do audio over Ethernet. We can do USB. USB 3 and USB-C are both incredible interfaces and work very, very well with laptops. They're rock solid. It depends on what kind of coin you want to spend. But I mean, there's some new interfaces, for example, from Personas that we're just up with the guys today. And they have a new the 2626 out. That's it's $699. I think it is $700 8-channel interface that is Thunderbolt. I mean, and it's Thunderbolt 3, and that's what our laptops, like 1730, 1760, 1530, 1560. They're all Thunderbolt 3 capable. So, I mean, we're talking a device you can plug right in and just crank out, ridiculous speed. So, it is getting extremely noisy in here, and I'm talking very loud, which is killing my voice. So, I'm going to kind of cut it at that. So, I'm going to recap briefly. Size of the screen, I didn't mention, but I'm going to mention it now. It's part of the recap. We have 14, 15.6, and 17.3 inch screens. If you're like me and you need these to look at small stuff, the larger the screen, the better. Hence, I've got a 17-inch laptop. But of course, traveling and the like, always has its degree of problems and from space restraints. So that is definitely a piece to think about. Processing power is a piece to think about. Battery longevity is a piece to think about. The amount of memory based on tracks and plugins and VSDIs is something to think about. And And then, of course, we're talking 8 series processors. So in other words, the battery, not so battery hungry processors that are nice on battery, and then the super battery hungry processors, which don't really belong in a laptop, but we've gotten them in a laptop, which would be the K series processors. Again, desktop replacement. So that's really your float. So again, in the lighter laptops, I would expect to record up to 50 tracks of audio and a modest amount of plugins and/or VSTIs or combination thereof. And then if you want to really just kill and be able to record anything and everything that you want to, then obviously you should be looking at the desktop replacement boxes. But there are variations in between. There's always exceptions to the rule. Interface means a lot. So, when in doubt, pick up the telephone and call us. On our website, we've got the chit chat. What's that?
We can chat live from here.
Yeah, we can chat live from here. If you folks want to do it, just go to our website at www.slickaudio.com, or you can go to slick.audio, whatever. But slickaudio.com is the place to be, and we can answer you live while we're here at NAMM and screaming and everything. But what can I say? Hey, from NAMM 2020, Jim from Slick Audio signing the heck off, and NAMM badge. Very reflective here. There we go. There we go. Hey, look at that. So, yeah, cool stuff. Red badge, man. We get in anywhere. Anyways, folks, hey, have a great time. If you are at the NAMM show right now, stop by and see us, booth 14018. 14018. We are in the new ACC North building on the lower level, back by Samson Audio, Neumann. I can't page. Chris is paging around on the Facebook side. I can try to do that. But I'm it's a lot of fun. I mean, this is a cool show to be at. It really is. So have a great time, and hope to see you soon. Cheers.